Hey, what's up guys? This is DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm going to be doing a scrap deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck actually makes one of my favorite monsters of all time in Scrap Dragon. Because this card is an awesome card back from the old school days when Synchros first came out. This card was actually one of the coolest Synchro monsters that you guys could pull out of a pack because it was able to pop a card on your side of the field and a card on your opponent's side of the field. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card in the mail, getting your name in the description of every single video, or getting to request a deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So, without further ado, let's get straight on into this, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Scrap Golem. So Scrap Golem is kind of like the big card that you want to get out of the deck the quickest possible because it has the ability that once per turn you can select a level 4 lower scrap monster in your graveyard and special summon it to either player's side of the field, which is really cool to be able to special summon a scrap monster from your deck like a copy of your scrap, or graveyard like a copy of Scrap Recycler, which we played 3 copies of. Scrap Recycler is a really good card because when it's normal or special summoned, you can send a machine monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then once per turn you can shuffle 2 level 4 Earth Machine monsters from your graveyard in your deck to draw a card, which helps you keep your resources in check as well, which is really important. 2 copies of Scrap Chimera. Scrap Chimera has a really cool effect that he can't be used for the Synchro Summon except for the Synchro Summon of a scrap monster, and all their Synchro materials must be scraps. And then when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon, you can select a Scrap Tuner monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which can help you get into like Scrap Dragon or Twin-Headed Scrap Dragon or cards like that, Atomic Scrap Dragon, and all those kind of cards. 2 copies of Scrap Orthos, which actually just got reprinted, so it makes the deck not quite as expensive as it used to be. It's still an expensive deck, but it's not quite as bad as it used to be. But this card cannot be normal summoned or set. It can only be special summoned by controlling a face-up scrap monster. And then when this card is special summoned this way, you can select a scrap monster you control and destroy it. And then you can destroy... if this card is destroyed by a card effect of a scrap monster and sent to the graveyard, you can select a scrap monster in your graveyard, except another copy itself, and add it to your hand, which is a really good effect as well. Just a single copy of Scrap Beast to actually bump this card down to 1. I feel like you just need a single copy of it. Basically, this card is just a level 4 tuner monster, and if it's invasive defense position is selected as attack target, you destroy this card at the end of the battle phase. And if this card is destroyed by a card effect of a scrap monster and it's sent to the graveyard, you can select a scrap monster in your graveyard, except another copy itself, and add it to your hand. So it's kind of like a vanilla level 4 tuner monster, essentially. 1 copy of Scrap Shark. Scrap Shark's kind of cool because when an effect is activated of a spell trap or spell trap card, you destroy this card, and this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard. You can send a scrap monster from your deck to the grave, which is a good starter card because there's plenty of cards in the deck that you want to send to the graveyard to be able to trigger their effects. 1 copy of Scrap Goblin. Scrap Goblin's neat because it can't be destroyed by battle, and then if this face-up card in defense position is selected as attack target, you destroy it during the end of the battle phase. And if this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap monster and sent to the graveyard, you can select a scrap card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. Which is pretty neat to be able to add those scrap cards back to your hand. Now, a tech card that I actually play that I don't see a lot of people play is a single copy of Scrap Mind Reader. So Scrap Mind Reader is a really good card and really helps you get into some of your combo plays in this deck. Because basically what Scrap Mind Reader does is once per turn, when this card's effect is activated, or when this card's in your graveyard during your main phase 2, you can select 1 scrap card you control, except another copy of itself, destroy that target, and if you do, special summon this card from your graveyard, and if you do, remove from the field when it's removed from the field, you banish it. And if it's used for synchro material, all monsters must be scrap monsters, which is not that big of a deal. 1 copy of Scrap Searcher. This card's really neat because you can special summon it to your opponent's side of the field with your copy of Scrap Golem, which is really, really good. And then when it's special summoned, you can destroy all cards. When this card is special summoned to the field, you destroy all face-up monsters except for scraps on that side of the field. So you special summon this to your opponent's side of the field, you destroy all their monsters except for the scraps, which they probably won't have scraps, so you just destroy them. 1 copy of Crystron Rosenix. This card is really neat because you can send it to the graveyard with your copy of Scrap Recycler and then get a token, which is really nice. I really love that effect. 1 copy of Mega Phantom Beast Oleon. Oleon is really nice as well because you can send it to the graveyard with this or summon it with Needle Fiber, and it gives you tokens. 1 copy of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is really good in this deck because it's, again, a copy of Needle Fiber. It's a Needle Fiber target, and you can also summon it off of the copy of you can summon it just sending it to the graveyard because it's a machine monster. So that's it for the monsters. Besides the hand traps, we do play a couple of hand traps in here, but I'm going to move these to the side so you guys can see those. So that's it for the monsters that you're going to be summoning in the deck. Let's get into the hand traps. So for the hand traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom really helps out because you can just basically, you don't ever summon this. You're just going to basically discard this card to the graveyard and negate your opponent from doing stuff from the deck. And then 2 copies of Nibiru as well. The Nibirus really help out because they basically, you just special summon them to your side of the field, or special summon them to your side of the field and then destroy all monsters on the field, and then special summon a token onto your opponent's side of the field and it gains attack and defense, which is not that big of a deal because you're going to be able to pop it with Scrap Dragon and stuff like that. The attack and defense doesn't even matter. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is really helpful because you don't want to deal hand traps in this deck. 1 copy of Monster Reborn, it's a good extender in the deck. 1 copy of Mind Control. The really cool thing about Mind Control is with Scrap Wyvern, it just wants a Scrap monster plus any other monster. So this card lets you take an opponent's monster and then be able to use it as a material, which is super nice. 1 copy of Foolish Burial, or not Foolish Burial, Terraforming. Terraforming lets you add the Scrap Factory from deck to your hand. Then 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial lets you send a particular monster that you need to the graveyard, like a copy of Oleon, or another one of your Scrap monsters to the graveyard, so it's really helpful. Scrap Yard lets you add a Scrap Tuner monster from your deck to your hand, which can be helpful. Sometimes you don't want to draw this card, but it's a really good one of. 3 copies of Scrap Storm. Scrap Storm is a really good card in here because what this card does is it lets you select a Scrap monster you control and send a Scrap monster from your deck to the graveyard and then draw a card and you destroy the one on the field. But since it's destroyed by the effect of a Scrap card, then it triggers its effect, which is kind of cool. So it basically lets you send one from deck to grave, and then after you do send that one to deck to grave, it destroys it, and then the Scrap monster's effect lets you add that Scrap card back to your hand. This card's really good as a one of. Then, or 3 of, I mean. Then we play 3 copies of Scrap Factory, which is basically the big card of the entire deck. What this card does is all Scrap monsters gain 200 attack and defense. And when a face-up Scrap monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Scrap monster from your deck to your hand, from your deck to your side of the field, which is really cool. I love that effect to be able to just special summon them directly from the deck because it's basically like, it's just like all of them are already triggering off their effects. And plus with like Scrap Storm, you're already getting that add to hand. And then when some of them are being destroyed, you're already triggering effects to special summon other Scrap monsters. But if you special summon something like Scrap Golem, you're just immediately going to get you're going to be able to special summon another Scrap monster on your side of the field, which is really, really helpful. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. I actually do play 3 traps in here. And the 3 tech traps that I'm playing here is a really interesting tech card. If you guys do want to comment down below and tell me what you think the trap tech card is, definitely do so and tell me what you think it is. And I will put it down in 3, 2, 1. It is a 3 of. That is your only hint, is that it is a 3 of tech trap card. I bet you won't be able to guess it. It's a really weird one for me to be able to play this card in this deck, and it's really interesting. So it adds a little bit of a stun ability into this deck, and I really like that. So definitely comment down below and tell us what you think it is, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. So here we go, and hit that notification bell. So it is 3 copies of Crackdown. So Crackdown is a interesting tech card in here. Crackdown is a super cool card because basically it combos for me really well with my copy of Scrap Wyvern. Because yes, if I do get going first, which sometimes you normally want to go first in Scrap. But basically what you do is you kind of want to go second, but this card really helps out with like the 4th turn play or the 3rd turn plays, because what you're going to be doing is activating this and then taking the opponent's monster and then activating the effect of Scrap Wyvern by linking the opponent's monster and your monster away for the Scrap Wyvern to be able to go into other plays. So that's why I play the 3 copies of Crackdown. If you want to play Impermanence instead, you can definitely drop these 3 and play 3 copies of Impermanence if you want to go that route as well. But I really like the 3 Crackdowns. It's kind of like an unsung hero, this format. It's really good because Mind Control got hit. It's still a really good card. So for the extra deck, we're playing 2 copies of Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon, if you don't know what it does, it lets you target a card on your side of the field and a card on your opponent's side of the field and destroy them both. And if this card, the effect that you don't know about Scrap Dragon unless you play Scraps, is when this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, either by battle or by card effect, And send to the graveyard, you can special summon one non-tuner or non-synchro scrap monster from your graveyard, which is really cool. 2 copies of Twin Scrap Dragon, or Scrap Twin Dragon. This card's a level 9, so that's something you have to keep in mind, but it's not super hard to go into. But basically what it does is once per turn, you can select 1 card you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy the one on your side of the field and return the other 2 to your opponent's hand. And then when this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can select 1 non-synchro scrap monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Then I play a single copy of Atomic Scrap Dragon because I wanted to be able to play this card. It's really good. It's a level 10. It's not super hard to go into in this deck, but you can go into it with just like a level 2 tuner or a 2 level 4s or a level 3 and a level 3 and a level 4. It's not super hard to go into. Basically what this card does is once per turn you can select 1 card you control and up to 3 cards your opponent controls and destroy the selected card you control, return the other cards your opponent controls to the deck, and then shuffle it. And then when this card destroys an opponent's monster when this card is destroyed, you can select 1 non-tuner scrap monster from your graveyard and special summon it. 1 copy of Borreload Savage because it just helps you put extra negates on board. Trishula because Trishula just helps us again with the other plays of being able to rip cards off the field. And Naturia Beast because Naturia Beast is ridiculously easy to go into in this deck. You basically just go into this card with like a level 4 and then like level 2 tuner or level 3 or whatever you need, just the earth monsters to go on this card. 2 copies of Scrap Wyvern. Scrap Wyvern is the MVP of the deck and the one you're going to be summoning all the time in the deck. You can target 1 scrap card or scrap monster in your graveyard and special summon it, then destroy 1 card you control. And if another scrap monster you control is destroyed by card effect while you control this monster, then you can special summon 1 scrap monster from your deck and then destroy 1 card on the field, which is really good because basically you're getting Reborn and then a pop, and then if you have Factory on the field, you're getting an additional summon as well. So this card just adds so much value to getting the Scrap Factory on the field. So you want to summon this card all the time. Boral Sword to OTK, Boral Load to take opponent's monsters, and then 1 copy of Unicorn to be able to bounce stuff, Phoenix to be able to pop spells and traps, and Needle Fiber to special summon those tuners. And that's pretty much it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play. I really enjoy this deck a lot because it's just a lot of fun because you're able to synchro summon and it's like you climb between Scrap and then the Twin and then Atomic, which is the 3-headed one, which is really fun to be able to do. It's not super hard to summon Atomic, but the majority of the time you're going to go for Twin anyways because you're just going to use like Orthos and Scrap Golem to go into Twin and then be able to bounce cards, which is really cool. But that's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near so you can become part of Notification Squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.